Hi everyone, welcome back. Today we are going to listen to an artist that I have heard nothing of before. I've actually never even heard of this artist before, which makes me think more about the music cycles that I'm in and what I'm listening to. The start of 2024 has been slower than I expected. I feel like I'm not tapping into as many new releases, so I've got some stuff to catch up on. But I am excited to hear from this artist today. I saw that the vibes could be similar to Dua Lipa, to Marina, to Charlie XCX, and I like all of those artists, so I'm very excited to listen to Allie X's latest project, Girl with No Face. To talk about the album cover a little bit, the red, the black, and the white, it's very dramatic. It does feel like we have dual faces in this portrait, and something about it is also a little bit eerie. The image itself does look like it could be reflecting a piece of art because it does give a noir aesthetic to it. So looking at this, I feel like we're definitely going to get something a little bit haunting, but ultimately maybe speaking to duality or the many sides that we have within ourselves. It also just makes you think of Geminis, but I don't know if she's a Gemini. I'm not a Gemini. Nobody's worried about Geminis right now. But when I think about multiple faces, multiple selves, that's what I'm feeling. Incredibly strong opening. I'm feeling 80s goth pop vibes. The vocals are strong as well. I love her range, and I felt like she was easing in and out of different sections of the song. This is giving me a surge of energy that feels exciting and fresh. I want to keep going. I want to see what else there is to hear. I was so lost in that song because I do feel like it was taking me somewhere. It was haunting and eerie in the beginning, somewhat as I expected, but also knowing that this project is going to be goth pop. The guitar really led throughout the song, and in the moment of negative space where we didn't have lyrics, I felt that shining through. There's so much about this project, though, that does evoke a lot of visuals for me. And I don't like to think of this as explicitly a music video because a video for this could exist. I don't know what the artist's exact intention was with this song, but having the Girl with No Face and having a style of lyrics in this song where there's a lot of blank space and not as much description, I do feel like we are missing frames in the music like we would miss frames in a video. It feels blurred, it feels anonymous, and it also feels ominous. I liked that a lot. That was really cool.
Stubborn Aphrodite, you got me in the tits. I thought I was a million, found out I was a twit. Off the tits, off the tits.
Okay.
Off the tits.
Let me take a quick caveat to say that from a gender and queerness perspective, I do feel like y'all really know me, and that the suggestions that you're bringing out, or rather, less that you know me and more that we can be in community with each other, because this song feels so trans right now, and I love that. I had to look up the lyrics just to make sure that I was hearing what I was hearing. So thank you for recommending this to me. This is so special right now. This moment that I'm having is so special right now. Feeling really seen. And that does not happen often when being perceived as a Black woman. Rather as a woman, because I am Black. Back to the music now. Okay, puberty. Let's talk about it. I get the coming of age, or really just existing sentiment that you can't control the attraction that comes towards you. You can't control how other people feel about your body. And seeing this through a perspective of maturing, having conversations with Aphrodite, and or feeling cursed through the vision of what womanhood should be. And I think that this song can be expansive to include other genders and identities as well. But just speaking with the language that we have in this song, yeah, this does happen some days where I'm like, off with it, right?
I'll never be a lady, or make me feel like gold. Take this flesh and suck it out and stop the ridicule. Got me in the tits. Stop the ridicule. Stop the ridicule. Go take a piss and flirt with the weight, not stop full of shit now. Off the tits.
This is not what I want right now. This is not how I want to feel right now. This is not the whole understanding of me, and the response that I'm getting is too much, is too frustrating. And it's also not how I'd like to envision myself. It's not how I see myself. Musically, the vocals were so strong. I love that we are still in this eerie goth 80s era. Like, it just feels, when I think about horror, it is easy to think about the 80s. I'm sure there's a reason for that. I'm sure there's a media reason for that. I think also listening to bands from the late 80s into early 90s who really latched onto this kind of goth pop, or rather started, I can't say started these movements, but created music like this. I see why this fits in. The lyrics are so mysterious that it makes you question exactly what you're hearing and what it means. And I think that's a really good hallmark of a talented artist.
John and Jonathan, they go up, they go down. One likes coffee black, and John, Allie. They're going home, I know, if they care for me.
This is such an interesting lens on how you would speak to your fans. I'm interpreting this as questioning, the lives of the people who support you. What happened in their day? Where did they come from? How did they cultivate this connection to you? And I love how strange and poetic it is. I love talking about John and Jonathan walking down Bowery, coming to the show, going to the cafe. Do you know when people say, like, you can be driving in your car and you look over and you realize that everyone else in their cars has their own life that's just as complex as yours? This is that feeling in a song. The names John and Jonathan paired together well, and I think there's also something in a lens of queerness. I don't know why I think John and Jonathan are gay. They don't have to be gay, but in my head, they're gay. Her vocals were so strong. The harmonizing was really beautiful. Like, it feels very smooth and crisp. And I can tell that there's so much intention in where we might go up a few registers, where we might have a longer note. It fits the aesthetic and it fits her vision of the album so clearly. Like, nothing feels misplaced. I have not run into a project like this in a minute, in that it feels artistic and strange, which are two things that I love to hear in music. So thank you for the millionth time for recommending this.
There's a secret in me I will never tell. But when I wake up, I'm running out of love, and I get so ugly without you.
So there's a lot of loss and longing in this. I love that this just feels like a classic 80s pop song. And her vocals are so well suited for this. I cannot state that enough. In reference to Galina and the loss of Galina, it feels like Galina has passed or is gone, and that understanding that and coming to terms with that has been devastating because it seems like it's unexpected. I really love the chorus. I love how the darker elements, the haunting, the eeriness is now in the lyrics and less in the production. It's also just a very nice palate cleanser from some of the more drawn out and asymmetrical songs that we've had before. This just feels very standard. And I like seeing range like this on a project. Very cool. Very cool. I like this a lot.
My hardware is getting too hard. I like software. It makes me calm and stop.
It reminds me of Grimes' song I Want to Be Software, not in the style but kind of in the content of the song, although Grimes' track was more about a digital afterlife, where this one just feels like how we interact with technology. And I love that it's titled Hardware Software because the software elements feel like childhood when she references liking hanging out with her mom and dad, but also then burning her face on the internet, like the duality of those two things. It makes me think more deeply about where we find love and comfort, or where we find spaces of enjoyment. And sometimes that can be in reality, in interactions that we have when we go outside, when we're with our friends, when we're with our loved ones, and then also in spaces where we're online, the community that we build. You, right here, are my online community. I also love that the music felt like something you would hear in a video game. It adds to that internet agenda while also keeping with the goth pop theme that we've been running with the entire time. There's so much creative play on this project. There's so much specificity and intention. I feel like the vision was met in a manner of different ways, and it feels so clear as we listen to the project now.
Something good. Come and say, darling, don't look back. With every fucker, keep your eye on the past. Hit me with that super pain. 'Cause it feels like I'm dancing in the rain.
A lot of this feels sensitive. I think that I'm not sure. There could be some creative liberties going on here. There could not be, but it definitely feels like there is an abusive situation going on, or something that's being used as a metaphor in that way. So I just want to give a content warning for anything that I might say. I don't think it will be bad necessarily, but I want to be specific when we're talking about things that could be hurtful and harmful to people. It does feel like we are dealing with a relationship that either feels addictive, and it doesn't have to be a relationship to a person as much as it can be an obsession with a thing. There is something unhealthy about this dynamic, and I feel that through discussing the black eye and also the many things that we are allowed to hit us, or the elements, the storms that we may weather because of this connection to this thing or this person.
Don't get mad, I'm modern dog. There's no need to cry, it's just a
There were some moments on this that really surprised me. Going into the bridge, I love just howling and releasing that emotion. I feel like there was a clear and consistent building up throughout this song that by the time we got to that release, it felt really good. We're straddling the line somewhere between the haunting and the pop. It is still goth pop, but it's just not as scary as it was in the beginning, although themes of this can be scary for other reasons. I'm quite surprised at how different these songs have sounded from each other while under the lens of goth pop. I think sometimes when I listen to music that is gothic, it feels kind of one note, or it feels like the emotional energy and the creative vision can be stuck in the same place. And I don't feel like this is happening with this song, mainly because there's a huge element of surprise. I never know what she's going to say next. I never know where we're going next. I am literally just along for the ride. I mentioned this last time. I mentioned that I do sleep on artists. I don't know what part of me feels the desire to do that, but I'll wait. I'll wait months. I'll wait years. I'll get to it when I get to it. It's part of why I have this channel, because I want to hear more things. This song put me in my place so much, and I respect it. Like, from a genuine level, this is what I want to hear. You should be asking me why I'm not coming to your show. I'm a fake fan. No, I'm kidding.
Trying to get down on one knee. Tell me why you slept on me. Now the jury's in. We all agree. Well, I was saving you slept on me.
I love this. I love that it's just like, what the hell took y'all so long? I am an icon. Where have you been? I think it's the right mentality to have as an artist, but I think when you translate this into a song, like, those are the kind of questions I want some answers to. That's what I want people to talk about. I mean, how many love songs can I hear? How many breakup songs can I hear? That's not all I'm doing. I'm also sleeping on artists. And you know what? People actually make fun of this. People say that, like, people don't rap about interesting things. Quick caveat. And I remember I saw this tweet where someone was like, what do you want them to do, rap about their taxes? And I'm like, yeah. Like, why? What are we doing if not creatively trying new things? Why are we rapping about the same? How much time are you going to rap about money? You know? So I love this song because it's like, yeah, I'll probably go to the concert and dance all night to this, knowing that I'm one of those people, but also knowing that I showed up. When people ask me why I haven't heard an artist, I'm going to just send this song. That's all I need to do. Outside of that, it is very upbeat. The vocals are good. Again, I love the lingering questions. I love the self-respect. I also love how transparent this entire project has been, but we're using so much creative energy and so many metaphors to describe these true emotions that we are still protected almost from having that level of vulnerability. Like, the artistry to be able to convert those feelings into something musical and vague and mysterious is not lost on me.
When I'm sad, I don't cry. No one wants to see you suffer.
There's a piece of this that makes me think again about womanhood and smiling through all of the pain. And then I also think about the reality of smiling through all the pain, how things aren't always happy and joyous, but that you can connect to different pieces of your life to allow yourself to feel some more levity in moments. I really love how much we sat in this moment, and there weren't that many lyrics. There wasn't as much moment for describing the way that we were feeling, but I think the production did a very good job of matching that. It feels melancholic, it feels sad, it feels like we're pushing ourselves through this like sludge, trying to get to like the next point in time, but the vocals get so high at a certain point and extended that it feels, if not like a scream for joy, almost like a wail of sadness. Teetering on the line of happiness and sadness, and that line is quite thin because both of those emotions can feel so powerful and happen simultaneously. I love how overwhelming it was. It didn't really give you an opportunity to think about other things or to disconnect from the song. And as we're getting closer to the end of the album, I think it is building a fuller sound of this project, but also giving us some finishing moments that will definitely resonate. So much of this track feels like it's about resiliency, the idea that we can stay around through the face of so much adversity and still continue to thrive through it, or at least survive it. Hearing the first few lyrics talking about things that we don't have, something about this is a very loose translation, trying to remember, something about like not having much of a beautiful face, not being invited to drinks, not having something that would make your grandma happy. But then in the second verse saying like, but you don't understand how hard things were for me. You don't understand the things that I went through in this past time, feels very powerful. And it is more open and direct than other songs. Just the idea of saying the term staying power reminds me more of like business spaces, finance meetings, like just things that I would attribute more to brands than people. But the effect of the word power is strong, and I don't think that this title would have been strong if it just had like resiliency. The beat itself also did feel like we were being tossed around. It brought me more to a carnival mindset, being on this ride, not being able to get off, kind of like a circular movement to it. And I felt frenetic as well, running around trying to like look into all of the fun houses and the attractions to see like which way is actually the way out. In theme with everything else in this project, it does feel strong to have a song like this because this is so creatively different from a lot of other things that I've heard. Granted, I haven't heard any of her earlier music and I definitely want to check that out. But I'm not hearing anyone releasing stuff like this in the pop sphere. I'm sure maybe it's more in the goth pop sphere, but I think the attention on lyricism and the specificity of what we want to translate is something that I don't come across often in music. Maybe that's why I'm a little bit disenchanted with some of the newer things. Let's listen to the last song on the project and then tie everything together.
Never die, I'll never die. Take everything, run. Everybody runs away.
It feels like we were constantly pushing uphill and now we're reaping more of the rewards, or in a position where we are settled in our creativity and also feeling more settled in how we communicate that creativity, and the resilience that we've been through in our lives in this industry has forged us into someone who can see through more of the issues than we could before. Maybe establishing ourselves more as a well-rounded artist and just feeling like this connection that we have to our community is strong and allows you to have more creative freedom and play. That was such a positive note to end on and so unexpected. I loved this project so much. I'm not the hugest fan of goth pop. I really don't listen to that much. I don't listen to that much pop. And pop is tricky because like what is even pop nowadays? Let alone goth pop. So this is definitely a first for me. I love that y'all have recommended this. I like geniuses. I will really type anything into the poll and be like, this is what I've heard. This is what I've heard around the ether. What y'all thinking? And suddenly we've got Chapel Rome, we've got Slater, we've got Allie X. Like, I think that we could still diversify a little bit more. If you made it to this point in the video, I appreciate you so much, and I hope you're having a wonderful day or night wherever you are. And I will see you in the next one.